All right, founded in 1983, Silicon Valley Bank has been a key driver for success in the tech industry, working closely with venture capital-backed startups and claiming to be the, quote, financial partner of the innovation economy. Still, as it collapses, the impact will be felt throughout much more than the tech industry. For Main Street's take on SVB's collapse, let's get to Yahoo Finance's Allie Canal. Hey, Allie.
Hello, Rochelle. And right now, the sentiment on Main Street on Twitter, it's very poor. I would give it a very ugly vibe check right now. We're also seeing that reflected in the stock market with certain regional banks like First Republic taking a big hit today. Here are some initial reactions that I pulled from Twitter. One user in particular focusing on the panic that started this, writing in part, quote, "The reality is the banking industry has to start adding this, quote, social media risk into their frameworks and find a way to get ahead and control the narrative to avoid this type of situation from happening again." So basically calling for firms to have a stronger social media presence and really communicate with consumers where they are. On the other hand, we had one user highlighting how customers should be better educated on how this system works, tweeting, quote, "SVP, poor risk assessment and poor management, though depositors should have been keeping better eye on how the bank was being managed. In my opinion, if you've got enough money to keep it in a bank, you've got time to check up on who's managing it. Same with 401k, pension, etc." And then finally, Mark Cuban, he's been very active on Twitter, weighing in on these developments. He wrote, "The tragedy of SVB is that it's not the wealthy taking the hit. It's the thousands of companies who borrowed from SVB and were required to keep their cash in SVB. Those entrepreneurs and their employees and vendors are feeling the pain, and they are who the Fed should protect." Of course, we do know that these depositors will be made whole. So one encouraging development from the weekend, but we'll see how this could affect future government decisions along with the Fed's interest rate decision that we will get next week.
And Allie, it does raise this issue. We talked about moral hazard earlier in the show, this idea that some of these, banks or some of these depositors specifically are getting backstopped, whereas perhaps other businesses that perhaps failed during the pandemic didn't get the same sort of treatment. This issue of fairness, is that being talked about a lot online?
I'm not seeing too much of that online as of now. I think people are still trying to digest what this means going forward. Of course, people are debating whether this was a bailout, whether this was something that the government should have done sooner. We will see what more can come out of this. But right now on Twitter, I think people are just trying to understand, how did this happen? And ultimately, how can we prevent this from happening again? So again, the sentiment is not very good right now. I think looking ahead to the future, there are going to be a lot of questions that the Fed, that the government has to answer to ensure that this is something that doesn't develop into a larger problem, that there's no more contagion. So we'll be monitoring this very closely moving forward.
And we did get the sense from President Biden that they're going to continue to look into this. Yahoo Finance's Allie Canal, thank you so much.